Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So, moving to the formal proceedings of today's matters, as I explained, we are going to give the overall explanation and take you through how to prepare all these things. So, to begin this formal overview and the other sort of important matters, may I invite the chairman of the panel of judges of Business Management Practices Company Awards 2026, organized by CPM Sri Lanka, Dr. Samantha Ratnayaka, to take the lead of this explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Dilshan, the CEO of CPM Sri Lanka. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's time for us to now take you through this journey. This recalls our memory back in the aftermath of tsunami. Well, it's 2022. So if I showcase, even though one scenario is not matchable with another scenario, but we can see that like soon after the particularly COVID pandemic conditions, where particularly by the time we steer into the 2022, so we realized that as a professional body, most of the organizations were really struggling, while some of the organizations are responding, embracing the scenario with positive and lot of showing resilience in that sense. So, as a management body, we came out with this concept of encouragement to all the organizations. That is what our memory lane recalls us. So, here, even though we are not comparing one incident with another one, but in terms of today, in the today's context, I think our intervention is very timely. So in that sense, just to recall back 2022, and with that, if we go to 2023, it's the same, but with so much of invigorated energy. A lot of companies responded as we have introduced on the info day, and so the 2024, it has got the momentum up to about 75 plus companies started to work with us. And then this year, technically 2025 one, it's now the 100 plus companies engagement intervention, understanding this setup. So therefore, may I say that with the dawn of 2026 Waste Management Practices Company Awards, we are happy to say that as a professional management body, so we are steering in the journey towards that direction, in line with this holistic picture of promoting waste management practices in Sri Lanka. So therefore, it's not a step back, it's a step in, it's going forward scenario. So we are happy to come out with this and make our companies comfortable in terms of what they are doing, looking at in terms of what they want to present and showcase. So therefore, this technical workshop is I would say, very much meticulous and clinical session, so that we can have an engagement plan. But according to the lineup, so we would go through a couple of fundamental slides and set the key spotlight points. So after that, we can take it some of your questions and so on. But particularly, if you look at the unfolding nature of this total 1 hour workshop by looking at this 3:30 to 4:30. We'll start with the big picture and setting into a couple of nitty-gritties and refreshing, because after the information, they also, our CEO and the team got quite a number of questions and clarifications in terms of what they did us over the other day. So therefore, I got CEO also involved in some of the facets. So let me cover those key areas. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so if you look at the overarching, our thinking is promoting waste management practices in Sri Lanka. So management is an integrative subject, integrative intervention in any organization, whether it's a public or private sector. Management drives the business. So in that sense, our focus is that. So in that sense, how to put this into a practice? Now today, while we are looking at those technical nitty-gritties, but still our game changer, our main architect that we like to highlight here. So that for that matter, let me bring your key functional areas. So if you look at your key functional areas in your organization, you name it, like HR, human talent or marketing, in terms of IT, manufacturing, finance, audit, R&D, or any other significant cluster. So those are key areas, key result areas in an organization. So that comes on one hand. So then that connects to, on my left, you can see that, so the companies may have practices at 3 levels. It can be a strategic level, the overarching, entire organization driven, or respective business to business, the sector wise, and the operational, the driving factors. So that comes on my left side. So with that, if you get into the business landscape, that comes with, there are key enablers in any organization. Those enablers are paramount important, indispensable. So that is where sustainability drive in line with environmental, social, people. What about the governance and responsibility, the accountability, the dimension of governance, the sector, industry, value creation, innovation. So in some sectors, some organizations are really driven by their value creation coming through those enablers, so that sector innovation is important. What about the country's development? So some organizations purely drive not only business, not only the profit motive, but country's development is the overarching enabler. What about the quality and productivity? So no quality, productivity, no way forward. Similarly, so digitalization is a sweeping change happening in the domain of business transformation. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at in this journey of understanding the architect, you can see these enablers are coming as a foundation. So those are the key areas. So with that, like what value drivers that organizations are looking at. So in that sense, CPM line of thinking is, well, let's look at organizations single pillar. So that is where we are going to look at one key area which you like. You have many areas, but you like to have one area. What about some companies love to have 2 key areas? So we are going to details when you are writing the report template part. I will explain that. But for the moment to understand, so some organizations have a relevant pillar driven to the edifice and getting that business into the next level. So therefore, so we have 3 enablers, 3 drivers coming up here. Now the enablers are backing, giving the foundation, and then the drivers. So with that, what we are looking at, any one of us, like which is the organization, the unit of analysis is organization. When it comes to organization, so you can see that this triangle shows, so like you want to get your market consolidated, the position, the organizational stability, growth, so you name it, business excellence, transformation, greatness, like you want to achieve your world-class performance. So some of the organizations are driven for world-class business performance. And what about corporate vitality? So that's the buzzword in the emerging contemporary world. So that let's get that holistic meaning into the context. So overarching organizational long-term direction goals. So ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this, the top tier is all about what? In terms of getting the entire landscape of the success, vitality, in terms of the growth, market position, whatever the term, end of the day, our strategic business institutional growth. So here, like we used to say, and we are very much delighted to highlight that point. So this is in the context of approved, recognized, like say under the Gazette of the Democratic Social Republic of Sri Lanka, this has been registered. So you can see that registered mark is and the relevant Gazette notification. So therefore, whatever the endeavor that we are engaging in, which has been recognized duly by the statutory lines. So that with that positive mindset, I like to spend a few minutes to give this message to all the organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, at the information session day also we said that more than the award, we should be able to help organizations. So we have quite a number of diverse professionals who are rallying around this professional body, so that we should be able to help them, assist them. So in that sense, now if you look at your business, I think whoever the participant, whether you are an individual, like in your setting might be one computer and many are joining, like I was told that in some are like joining in groups, whoever involved in this process, I think this is a time for you to pause for a while and understand in the context. So if I simplify this, this is your business landscape. This is your big picture. Companies, now you are in the transition from 1 year to another year. With all that, Sri Lankans are resilient. So like we can see on the one hand, the government is driving the national step in approaches. So other bodies and the while people are facing. So we are in a transition of moving from initial response to restore and getting into the next level. So business's point of view, we should to stand firm. So you can see that your world-class performance, you name it, we have captured this. So that even a concept like corporate vitality point of view. So the latest research says what? Have you got your strategy? Have you got your technology? Have you got your people? Have you got your culture? So that ready. So if that is in line, corporate vitality. So you want to like get Sri Lanka to the next level? That is world-class performance. You want to get your company good to great? That's a greatness, excellence, transformation, not just mediocre substitution to augmentation. It's a real enhancement. For that matter, now is time for you to look at, not only for this year, like years to come, how we should go and showcase, so that, ladies and gentlemen, you have a great chance of picking one of the most significant 1, 2, 3 like type of approaches. So what are the real drive actionables in our organization? So you can see that someone is having a fantastic, like very encapsulated marketing practice in the organization. Or can be HR, can be a manufacturing. So might be your total research and development dimension is your success story in the organization. Okay, you have a single pillar. Single pillar means you can use that and go for that. When I'm explaining the template, I will go to those details. So I want to just park for a few minutes only here. So after that, once I come to that, we'll explain how companies are writing correctly and not correctly this area. So from institute point of view, applicant's point of view, we have given you kind of a setup for you to quite comfortably respond. Now earlier scenarios, you had one practice or otherwise like many practices. So it has been simplified based on the previous year's responses. But anyway, don't forget that your enablers are your real game changers to drive your organization. So that you can see that these drivers can come at a strategic level, like overarching level, business overarching level, or you can come at business level, like SBU point of view, or business ABCD point of view, or you can come in a like relevant functional area. So whichever comes from left side, that can be connected to your either 1, 2 or many. So that it's a beautifully say configured architecture. And don't forget, so these are your key functional areas. So I can see that now here the term like say might be you have a separate corporate communication section, so that probably we can put on any other. So you can have a dedicated R&D. You may have a audit compliance risk management unit. You may have a manufacturing production supply chain. That's your section of functional area. That's how it comes. So with that beautiful configuration architect, what I want to tell you that CPM point of view, we are happy to share with this is for Sri Lankans to look at their organization much more structured manner for them to like earn, enjoy and reach to even unstructured territories. So with that, we will come to this bit of nitty-gritties here. At this moment, I want to particularly highlight that this recognition of a board has inspiration. As you know that CPM has this this award as well as our MI Summit. So MI Summit, Management Insight Summit, is a landmark opportunity for you to stand and deliver and showcase for others to learn. It is not copying, it is learning together. So in that sense, because of the few requests I have made from the Institute, we like to quickly refresh your memories of last 3 years. This recognition means inspiration. In other words, your opportunity. So we love to select top 10, whoever the top 5 in those best sector and cluster 5, which we are going to showcase later on the March 25th, 26th, Thursday, MI Summit in Colombo. So therefore, this is what those previous memories. Let's pause for a while and enjoy. Right. So, with those memories, so may I ask that, ladies and gentlemen, more than a award, are you ready to do that showcasing? So, with that, before I come to the template, there are a few areas we want to highlight and stress. So, I think the best person is the CEO. Mr. Dishan, can you take this over?
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we published already, these are the type of awards we are going to award at the 27th award night at Imperial Monarch for your reports, based on your reports and presentations. So, we are going to recognize overall gold, silver, bronze plus 10 companies, because previous times we have selected only 5 companies for these excellence awards, but this time our Accounting Council took the decision 5 will select from the sector awards, as well as another 5 will select from the cluster awards. Therefore, total 10 excellence awards. Those are the companies are going to present at showcase their presentations at the CPM MI Summit, going to be held on 26th of March, Imperial Monarch. Then we have the Leadership Excellence Awards also, because automatically companies who select for this Excellence Awards, 10 Excellence Awards, the signatories of that report will qualify to receive that Leadership Excellence Award at the award night, as well as we have 55 number of cluster sector awards, as well as 35 cluster awards. Then we are selecting 40 outstanding companies, because last time we selected 25 companies, but due to the growing demand and the huge the number of submissions, so we thought to increase the number, recognizing 40 outstanding companies this time, and others who are not qualified but above average of our marks, then they will get certificate in recognitions as well as merit awards in this Best Management Practices Company Award. So let me move to the the next further simplify how you are going to gain these awards. We have two clusters and sectors, and the last the primary cluster is the certificate of recognition. So then we have merit awards. Then when we go to the next cluster, then we are selecting, we are recognizing sector winners as well as cluster winners. Then after that, the top 25 winners from the sectors and top 15 from the clusters we are going to recognize. Then out of that, 5 each will be selected for this 10 Excellence Award. So the companies who qualify for this 10 Excellence Awards will again qualify for this overall gold, silver, bronze. So that is the pinnacle of these awards. And moving to the sector awards, I'm very sure that all our company representatives went through this, the details what we have published. This is already available in our website, www.cpmawards.com. So, based on your company nature of business, you can apply for the sector awards, as well as if you have any outstanding stories under the clusters, you can bring additional submissions under the clusters. So that's how you can multiply your submissions. And moving to the cluster awards, you can see we are going to recognize a number of clusters. I'm not going to read one by one, but these details again, I'm sure that you will too. Those details are available at the website. And the critical question, because we usually experience in our secretariat what the companies are inquiring, whether one submission can lead multiple awards. So let me take you through that, how we are going to earn that. Suppose if a particular company is going to win this sector awards, based on the total marks you are going to gain, then you may fall under this top 25 or the top 15 under the clusters. But even further, if you are having more marks which belong to the 10 top companies, then you will fall under this 10 Excellence Awards as well. Finally, if you are belong to the top 3 gold, silver, or bronze among top 3 companies, then you will get these overall awards as well. That's how one submission can lead multiple awards. If a company is going to secure this title, parallelly they have the chance to win other titles as well. So overall, that depends on the overall marks you are going to gain. Then moving to the next, again I'm showing this the same in the different picture. But let me go through this evaluation process that is most critical part we need to emphasize to our company representatives. First, the technical workshop and the guidance today we have. And we are going to wait 10% for the compliance deadlines as well as the rules, template and other instruction, because I'm sure Dr. Ratnayak also will be explaining that. Because though we give very simplified and clear template, most of the time we have seen the companies who are not following that template, so we'll get we'll reduce this 10% because we are quite keen whether you are following that template. Because say for example, some companies they are just submitting as a story. Then judges also quite struggling how to give particular weightage in particular area, because we are asked nearly 6 areas under 6 areas you need to write down your story. So which has demarcated separate marks and all. So later you will get to know. But we are giving 10% for the compliance of deadline, rules and template and other instructions. Then moving to the next, in addition to the report, you need to submit the executive summary. That templates also we have given. Please make sure within the word limit you need to submit that summary as well. So moving to the technical report, you will get 40% for the technical report. Then again, another 40% of the video-based presentation, because this is quite new, because I'm very sure that the company's representatives are here who continuously engage with this award from the previous times. But this time, because previous times we asked you to come and do the presentation, live online presentations, but here now we further simplified your process. Your life is quite easy. Therefore, you can record 10 minutes video, this presentation as a 10 minutes video. So which make sure you are on time and you are doing a quite comprehensive presentation based on the report what you have prepared. So that's the expectation and the support line we are giving from CPM. So that will get 40% weightage. But so additional step, this time we have this Q&A for final top 40 companies. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to recognize top outstanding 40 companies this time. So therefore, top 40 companies who are getting top marks of the total average, then they will be invited to the online discussion, not the presentation, because we already have the presentations. So therefore 10 minutes Q&A. So those areas also we have given what are the area and what sort of area we are going to test under that 10 minutes Q&A. So after that we are going to have another physical interview session with the companies who are selecting for the Excellence Awards, particularly the 10 companies will get that chance. So based on that interview, because for that process we are getting total separate jury with eminent personalities. Therefore, they have not engaged throughout this process with the feedback of judges, and they will they will peruse your reports, but they will test again the quality of these reports and your presentations. That because of they will ask you to physically present for this Q&A to select overall, gold, silver, bronze. So that's how the judging process. Then in particular dates we are going to announce the winners. So this is quite common with our award system. Then the submission of submission guideline, that is also quite important, because we have seen that the companies are sending reports with various names. End of the day, when we consider the amount of submissions we are receiving, the administrative department is having some troubles how to really identify particular company's submission. Say if one company is going to submit multiple submissions, that also you need to clearly mention rename the file name and all these things. Therefore, we have implemented this kind of template, so then you can follow these guidelines we already given. Even for the presentation, you need to follow that, and for the video. So that's how that's quite common, but I must mention, because still some of the companies are neglecting these kind of instructions. So when you go to the submission process, now up to the previous editions we asked you to send it by emails, but now to increase maximum transparency, as well as to make sure the company submitted their reports on time. Therefore, we need to we have implemented the system. So just go through when you go to our dedicated website, cpmawards.com. Then when you go further down, you can see the submission button is there. So when you click these things, you can upload those details. So likewise, filling these required details. Kindly refer these things. Similarly, the report, the PowerPoint presentation, as well as your video, then you will get this kind of acknowledgement through our system. So everything quite clear and transparent, because this is also will when we check the compliance and all, they just will consider they will generate the reports, the submission dates, and all these things. So when you this is most critical thing, because most of the companies giving various excuses. Sometimes they say that the CEO or any other signatories are not available, but keep it in mind, because we are going to test the best management practices. Therefore, this is also quite important. So therefore, we are not going to extend the deadline for 31st of January. That is quite clear. We have enough explained that in our info session as well. But make sure to submit your report on or before 31st January 2026. Thereafter, we are going to start our judging process. And before we move to the technical part of this templates, so I will go to the first part of, because we have four A, B, C, D, the part, four parts of our templates. The first part is the company details. Though it is not quite strange, but let me go through quickly, because end of the day, you need to give the details quite clear, because these details are very much vital, especially when you mention the sector and the cluster. Please mention it properly. Depends on the reports. Say if you are going to submit several reports, so this has to be separately you need to attach with a particular report. Otherwise, if you are going to submit one document plus 5 submissions, say, so that's we are in danger, because we can't segregate what exact the report you are going to refer. So therefore, please make sure attach this part with your relevant report. And part A, this is also very much need, because we need to make sure for the formalities, and again we are going to check the compliance. So therefore, you need to maintain. And especially, I would like to bring your attention for this part. If a company is going, so there is most excuses I am getting when we close to the submission date. If the company CEO or any other signatory is not available, please make sure at least use their e-signature with their permission. So that is what we need, because without under any circumstances we are not going to extend our deadline. So therefore, make sure get the signature date and particular person's name and the designation, and also the rubber stamp, because if you are not going to complete these three, these are the mandatory 3 fields when we check the compliance. So sometimes companies are sending without signature, name and the designation and the rubber seals. So therefore, we are going to reject this time if the report is coming without a signature. So please be mindful with that. And perhaps these kind of details you can get quickly in advance, because almost we have granted the approval for this process. Therefore, we encourage not to be in that trap. Right? Then the part B, general guidelines, almost we have published. Especially make sure the word limit, because some are exceeding words and giving various excuses. Please refrain exceeding word limits, because that make quite your day life easy, because if we are not going to ask month's work, filling this much of word for this executive summary, as well as 1,005 to 2,005 words for the reports, I think quite easy. And the font type and the sizes, all these have been given. And these are the general lines you can follow easily. I hope you can understand. And with that, the most crucial part is the technical writing. So that part will explain by Dr. Ratnayaka, Chairman of Panel of Judges.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Dilshan. So, setting the tone, each area is important so that you also have an hour within the time to understand. So, this among important points, so this is one of the core areas. So, you can see that by now, if you have met those expectations, 10% is already established because those are low-hanging fruit. You're starting with the competition with 10 marks in hand. Just imagine one or two critical points are missing means 10 marks missing. So here, the next chance is executive summary. Don't forget that later we tell, look, this annual best management practices, go to a report and you will get fantastic reports. So 2 reports are already available, journals. So that executive summary. So as you know that executive summary is the hallmark of any report where the synthesized, crisp, succinct understanding. So we have set the tone for giving 10% for that. The reason is our previous experiences in terms of executive summary, some are just simply narrating it, that this is the company, we have done this, like that, it's a simple narration. So instead, what you need to do here in terms of this structure per se, get that core area summarized, the situation before the implementation. So if I read it out for your betterment, provide a concise overview of the challenges and or gaps faced by the company prior to the implementation of the best management practice. So there's a section, so you need to get that summarized view, the précis of that, and then in terms of best management practice description. So similarly, the relevant areas, contribution to business, you need to get no pictures required, brief narration. So you can play within 500 to 700 words and getting that outcome and sustainability measures, the sustaining aspect. So that means out of your report, core areas will be summarized and get it to this. The executive summary would showcase for someone silently about the personality, psyche of the company, so that the executive summary itself, real spotlight, may I say opener, looking at who we are. So this is the company stature. So each company has their stature, glory, reputation, but still the executive summary is the showcasing moment. So with that, let me, ladies and gentlemen, come to the core, the heart of the report. Now this is where your strategic, the architecture, that template, the configuration, put it into the perspective. Just imagine for a while, when it comes to the recognition and inspiration, this is a large audience of MI Summit where you get an opportunity to, with your team members, come and present, 3 members. Well, so you have a story to tell. We are going to now unfold that story. So, ladies and gentlemen, here, let's look at this area in terms of the question. The situation emerged in the organization before implementing the best management practice. A brief comparison with the previous year situation should be indicated. So what does that mean? So here, what is the simple expectation? Expectation is that now with the dawn of 2026, when you are submitting a report, you need to look back, what is the situation, what is the context, condition. So it is, I think, from the information day to today, we didn't have a cyclone on that day, that natural disaster. So therefore, one should not write excessively about the disaster only, because that has come later stage to your business. It has further engulfed or getting triggered to the next level. That's understandable. But in terms of your situation, it is, you can see 10 marks. So the judges have their clear classification. If you are meeting that the brief situation, the situation in brief with 10 marks means someone has given that simple narration in terms of the requirement of the question number 1. Look, 7 to 10, 4 to 6. This is the professional judgment section, which professional judgment process, we have a separate briefing for all the judges. It's a well articulated, well structured kind of backing, in this case behind the screen. But we want to highlight that here we have particularly made it blue color, make it very brief. You don't need to write 2-3 pages. So the idea is that the organization, we know the organization names and details, but we want to understand before this the story comes, what is the company. So company is having a bit of a lull period, or bit of a remarkable growth, or having a fluctuated scenario, or bit of a further challenge scenario, or like market was really hitting and it's a lukewarm, it's very slowly moving, or like you are in a real dynamic, whatever the condition, situation, circumstances, please set up that. So it can be a pandemic, it can be a natural disaster, it can be a industry debacle, it can be a economic turmoil, it can be a economic retarded kind of a setting, or it can be a real transition threshold kind of a. So therefore situation is, it's a general narration. So the usual practice what we have seen in this case, more than explaining the situation emerge, situation that means it was challenging. Like some are writing in a very simple language like, yeah, we had a good company, so that we are practicing HR, marketing and so on. Our business is good, so that we are the leader, or we are the challenger, we are follower, or we are the sectoral leader, cluster leader, whatever the setting, and we have our partnerships and so that's a simple narration. So nothing a big deal. So you can see that the average marks can be offered to such circumstances. That means no such engulfing and encroaching like emerging scenario is not there. Not a pandemic, not a resilient, but instead some average setting. So highlight the word situation emerge. Situation emerge in the organization before implementing this best practice. Right. So with that, you can ask questions, but since we want to focus on the time also. Now, our thinking comes. What is our thinking? So our thinking is, look, that you don't need to copy paste those architect. Now, you have your HR, marketing, finance, any organization has those functions. Then organizations are looking at the boardroom decisions to down the line. Thinking is what? We want success. We want growth. We want the corporate idea. We want the success. So what really drives? It's time for us to understand now. What enables us? So here, the beauty of this competition is, now you can pick one. You can pick one. So for that matter, a brief description of the best management practice in a single pillar, stroke, 2 pillars, 3 or more pillars. What does that mean, friends? Now here, it's time for us to now pick. Okay, I think in these circumstances, in that context, what was our real driver? So you may pick one of the driving factors, which is very strategic move of the organization. Oh, no, let's forget that. We had a very good business case, that process come. Or otherwise, no, we have a fantastic kind of operational real executing scenario. Pick that. So, otherwise, no. This year was the real consolidation of our governing structure, or quality productivity enhancement drive. So introducing quality measures, productivity measures, total quality, or something like that. Oh no, that was the year where we drive strategically our digitalization more. So that is now our focus is real sustainable drive of the year. So like that you can come out with, pick. It's a picking. So that's why to open in there. Now, when it comes to the word best practices, all the written materials are available in the site for your references. We have given at the information session day also, from the Jim Collins to going back to forward, backward, Sri Lankan and so on. So, most practical and effective. Practical and effective, executable, the phenomena or practices, areas are best management practices. So, best management cannot be replicated. It's about unique identification within a given organization or industry to pick. So, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it's high time for you to now look at, shall we compete this time with a single weapon? So, that is, you can go with single pillar. No, company might have even a pillar system. They can have a solid HR backing, good marketing, superb financial backing, getting that quality productivity driven, even fascinating digital department, research and development, all there. But as far as this year is concerned, our spotlight, our highlighted, distinct point of view is concerned, probably we can go for with these two. Let's say hypothetically, our manufacturing and digital drive. So two. So then let's go on to this one. So therefore, whichever you select, here the point is the clarity of your selection. That's what matters. So what the typical, the CEO, like what we have seen in previous occasions, they are written all over. That's a typical mistake. So that means under the single pillar, explaining the entire company departments. We know it. That's not required. So we know that they have a HR department, marketing, finance, IT, even administration, digital, even digital department is separately available. Or even HR can have two, like HR administration side and culture talent development side. Or then there are situations where separate corporate communication and so on, international business, like a kind of a section or department. That's fine, perfectly okay. We don't know these details. What we want to understand, which one you are going to pick for this competition, like in the sense, as far as this is, like even though it's not a purely competition drive, and like what we can go and tell in the society, in general public, like, so that is your selection. So, the common mistake is non-clarity of the area. Invitation for you is what? Select that one area or two areas or three areas. Imagine a company who is having a fascinating practice, very brutal practice of, in terms of very much discipline. I use the word brutal here in the discipline line. The discipline of executing of quality, let's say people, HR, and might be, let's say IT. So the IT, HR, quality, that's the game changing the organization. That was the focus of the organization, which can come as a driver or probably a driver. But some organizations, this is the year that they are getting their business continuity, risk management, compliance. That's an enabler. So we want to come up with that. So we can go and apply under cluster votes. Cluster votes there. So that then the so therefore friends, this second question is a landmark selection. It's like strategic terms, it's a choice. As the strategy guru says, Michael Porter says what? In this case, strategy is making a choice out of distortion. So, can you make that choice? I think you are the real contributor to your organization. So, get that clarity. That's what question number 2 is all about. So, with that, let's go to now number 3. So, this is interesting. So, here the task is that you have plenty of results, but how has the said this management practice contributed to the business organization to sustain or grow? It can be sustained because rather than putting you down, and this is quite a minimum of 3. So we want evidences, ladies and gentlemen. So therefore you can see you need to build up evidence 1, 2, 3. So evidence 1, 2, 3 means clearly present 3 pieces of evidence that indicate how the above chosen best practices have contributed to the business and sustaining growth. So earlier we were a particular scenario context. Now is the clear organizational choice. Here results come in. So evidence 1, evidence 2, evidence 3. Based on that area, you can come out with this. The common practice is, in fact, while we have even segregated these rows and columns for you one, like earlier practice is quite challenging. Few companies we have seen, they are writing all together, like integrating one after the other, one after the other. Panel of judges are really struggling to understand what are the 3 evidence they are trying to say. Even at the presentation time, we had to ask, we had to pause and ask, look, so tell what is your evidence 1, 2, 3, like that. So this time, at least we have given a box. So therefore, like you have to stick to the box and in this case, bring your discipline into this box and explain that in brief. So the marks carry with that. So then the next one is what? Like, this is where I think it's a common management challenge in all over the world. These two words are used heavily, but I don't know, we are excessively emphasizing that. We are categorically emphasizing that the difference between output and outcome. So, stemming from management thinking, ladies and gentlemen, output means something quantifiable, measurable, workable. If you can't level it up, quantify, there is no output. So then outcome is impact. It's a qualitative. Wherein if we bring management words, your efficiency, effectiveness, engagement, resilience, your agility, and you're bringing that. So that is your outcome. So what I want to tell you, focus on the industry impact or societal contribution to the economy, where you need to bring some numbers. So industry, here is the growth. So we need, narrations are not going to work here in the question number 4. Simple mistake and non-mistake is what? Mistake is saying that we have done this, that, very good impact, the organizations growing, industry recognition, all that narrations. Narrations are good, but not for the quantity output. So therefore, requirement is what? Here, market growth, service growth, customer service, or complaints numbers. So some sort of key measuring, key performance indicators are required here to showcase, look, so this, but at the same time focus on the type of, the marks allocated, 25 marks, so that it's a very vital one. So technically, 3 evidences, 30 marks, and this one 55, 25, so 55 marks. So it's like you are more or less settled from a report point of view. So therefore, bring evidence, results or indicators to showcase your output. And for the outcome, you can say that what kind of a qualitative impact that you have done, made, and turn around the organization, in industry and so on. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, just to understand, number 5 is what? Any business head who does, okay, you have that like new practice, this is wonderful, results are coming, company is growing, organization is really now looking at us, so they are now, you are making a mark among them. What about the sustaining aspect? So sustain and consolidate. So what measures? So at least 15 marks allocated to say that. So these are activities, so like steps we have taken to make it taking forward. So therefore, friends, here, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you have to highlight that steps you have taken to keep it forward, take it forward. So that is what the sustaining point. And the last one is why it has given so 5 marks. There can be some consolidatory, like we call pampering, some understanding, not purely pamper, but rather bringing some icing on the cake. Say that your other recognitions, other supporting evidences, so like brief. So if you have some annexure of your awards list or some world recognition, some of the showcasing moments, you have been summoned by the, not just your PR articles, full of PR articles, this, but few awards, few recognition, few areas that you have gathered as supporting aspects. So that is what this report is all about. So the fundamental distinction, friends, very clear. Selection of the best practice versus not. That's one. And the required direction versus writing a lot of activities is a common one. So if you avoid those, very much. So now you have a beautiful opportunity, a wonderful opportunity. What is that opportunity? So you don't need to, like when you are coming last occasions with the AI and other technological upbeat, and so CPM is now really embracing those into this. You see overarching is exercise behind the screen. You don't need to trump our blow our own trumpet, but we want to tell that, look, I think it's a master piece of execution of AI, but here you don't need to get to AI support. Now you need to use the template available. So very clearly get your 10 minutes, really mark. The slides cannot be deviated. So moment you deviate, it has a detrimental impact on your, in terms of giving the mark. So like, I would say judges' job is to may I say it's a professional judgment, but That's a Montessori checking. Why? Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, not there. 2, not there. So therefore, may I say, like here, these bridging slides are given for what? Keep that bridging slide. No harm. So that you don't need to keep these 5 marks allocated. You can take that out. But tell the organization, all the instructions are clearly given here. What to do and so on. So like probably pictorial, colorful, make it visible because we want to see you. Don't forget that if you are in the top 10, either category, sector or cluster, you have been invited to address the MI summit. So then we want to see that those who have glamour, color, the orchestration, so much of a big picture, big bright bold, slides are not cluttered, most of the contents are heavily put. So that's why we are giving these hints, right? So it's look at outside in. So then what judges want not to hear 4-5 minutes about the organization. That's a mistake that most of us. So it's like it's a 5 marks. So here what do you want to know? The challenging scenario. Probably will get that. This is the 1, 2, 3. So it should be in line with the report. In line with the report, emerge situation very clearly. So here, previous 4 cases was this. We have not only segregated to last 1 year. So you can look at recent 5 years. So how your industry is having overarching trouble, issue, and so on, so that you can bring forward. So with that, alright, so now we want to get the attention of the audience. Even the MI Summit presentation format is same. So that these templates are there, contents, that's your icing. So you need to come out with either single or 2 or 3 more pillars category. And then, ladies and gentlemen, showcase your impact 1, 2, 3 in terms of evidences and evidence 1. So that's why we have clearly marked and indicated that marks also. For that, 2, 3, and then of course results. That is where outcome comes. Here, outcome comes, and then so this thank you is a big word in some like here the thank you comes for the mark of conclusion of your the slides, so that some additional notes are also here, given that how the balance 20 marks come, because that marking is available for their reference in the site, and you can see that you will get 80 marks from your presentation, content and so on, but your how the organizing of 10 minutes, the way you navigate your presentation, stick to the time, we can say even we can't give more than 10 seconds of your 10 minutes. So technology is available. You need to cut, chop and prune, fine tune it to 10 minutes. That's a beautiful chance. You can do 10-15 times of rehearsal and even do presentation, not a problem. So then the guidelines for the video, so that those who are applying, clearly explaining the best practice and the report presentation should be matching 10 minutes. So that's strictly following. Minimum 3 presenters. Don't forget. So CPM is giving free I would say tickets for them to come to the 26 MI Summit 2026, and then I have office attire, dress code formal, because it's about your company, ladies and gentlemen. And so in this in that time slot, at least your other members might be you are having navigational chance of presenting, but whoever presenting, they should be showcased, name should be there in the cover page, and so this slide number wise instructions are given, what to do, what not to do. So keep that format and do the needful. So that is what all the other details are given there. And I think with that, this time we have come to almost final few minutes. I want to highlight about this important days and so on.
Yes, we already presented and we have officially announced these things. So I'm not going to read one by one. But again, I'm emphasizing you to adhere with the deadline, especially the 31st of January 26 for the report submission date. And we are going to announce the results 5th March 2026. The rest of the details will remain as it is. And when you go to the additional benefits, as Dr. Ratnayaka mentioned, we are going to publish the best stories, which is another, the learning we infuse with these awards. So therefore, the companies can follow what the best management practices and certain companies who won the titles, and so therefore those already two versions available in our website. You can refer those things, which also might another kind of idea you can get how they have written their reports and what contents they have included, and technical guidance as we are giving right now. And this recorded version we are going to provide to the companies for further reference. And also the winners of the Excellence Awards will qualify to showcase their stories at the Management Insights Summit 2026. And also three free seats we are going to give for every submission. Say for an example, if one company is going to submit 5 submissions, if they are using 15 presenters for that 5 submission recordings for the video recording, so they will allow 15 seats. So there's a meaning, because though it is out from our cash, but we always encourage as a responsible professional management institute, we always encourage the learning, and it is connected with the main theme of promoting best management practices in Sri Lanka. So therefore, 3 free seats we are going to give the presenters who are in the video recording. So please be mindful with that, and also recognize the leadership of excellence. So the signatories, particularly the CEO, the managing director, or MD, will have a great chance who will select for the top 10 in the Excellence Awards. They will automatically qualify to receive the Excellence Award. And also we have these digital badges we have created for every company. So just I'm referring, these are already available for the previous company editions. We created digital badges for certain companies with your company logo and those details, and the titles you secured, all these will be embedded, and these details are almost available. And similarly, in future, the next versions also we are going to add. So you can see that those can be shared in the social media as well. And previous year's participants, let me quickly showcase who are valuable participants who believe us and come to this competition to showcase their risk management practices. And these are the vital details. You can see that cpmawards.com and you simply visit. So all comprehensive details what you already showed are available. In the event if you need any sort of assistance, we always willing to give the support through emails and the telephone numbers mentioned here. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me hand over the final part of this presentation to Dr. Ratnayake.
Alright, okay, so we are now almost done. So ladies and gentlemen, as we said, as a professional management body, our intention is to promote best management practices in Sri Lanka. So with that, so may I ask, are you ready? So that we are ready, but we want to ask from you. So come forward, embrace this opportunity and take it forward. So showcase your company, and we love to see those practices, and end of the day, Sri Lanka prosper. So we need that step in approach at this decisive moment. All the best. So well, as within the time frame we are done now, but still, if someone is having any other clarification, I think our technical team is willing to accommodate 1 or 2 questions, if any. You can unmute and ask rather than typing it straight away. Yes, one has raised the hand. Even CEO Dilshan also would join with me for any clarifications if there is.
Yeah, please unmute and ask your questions.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. So I'd like to ask this question from Dr. Saman. So I represent a conglomerate, Dr. Saman, so under our organization, even I'm happy to say, even on this call, there are 6 to 7 members representing different SKUs present on this particular training as well. So, and this is the first time we are approaching this award, and we are very keen right? So how do we, can you just shed some light, because we are a group of companies and we have different verticals, like I said. Can you just provide some clarity? Will we approach it as one organization, one group, and then put it down as separate case studies or best practices? Because I saw we can go to 3 or more, right? Or do we register each vertical separately? Which is the best way forward? What do you recommend?
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that question. So our motive here is to not to increase the number per se, even though there are 100 plus companies are rallying around and responding. This time also over 100 plus companies is an overwhelming response. Here the intention is to clarify your question. Fantastic. Good those questions while appreciating it. The idea is this. Technically, so in your conglomerate, definitely you have a group of verticals. So that there are two direct opportunities directly coming. One is, as a group of companies, let's say your holding company might be having 1 or 2 or 3 key enablers or drivers really driving your business overarching. So that's a scenario 1. The other scenario is, respective business clusters has its own story. They have a unique, in line with the definitely company corporate agenda strategy, in line with that, they can have one each, like I would say each vertical is having a story. So in that sense, let's say for an example, assume that you have let's say 10 companies. So company 1 is having one single practice kind of a submission. Of course, you can go for that. So another company is having they have a fascinating two kind of a pillar type of approach, like pillar approach means 2 functional areas are really driving the business. You can go for that. Imagine the third company also same. They can go for that. Like it's a 4th company is having a very holistic, real game changer kind of a company that you are driving. Of course, they can go for 3 or more. That means we don't like to isolate one, so they can go for that. Might be the let's say your 4th company, let's say 5th company is having again, they have many practices. They have HR, marketing, finance. But for this competition, real distinct, I would use that word distinct, the practice, very practical, implementable, result generating one comes from a single one. So therefore, you can apply under single. It can be, again I am highlighting, it can be one of your functional, like showcasing of a department approach, like a marketing, finance side. Or might be your cluster approach, like, so a particular organization is well deserved business continuity, risk compliance type of driving factor. So that comes as an enabler. So you want to showcase that. So that is your application for that submission. So similarly, it's your choice. May I say you can go for conglomerate separately as a unit, but if you are running 1, 2, 3 like that verticals, you can go for single one. So out of that, since you are coming for the first time, you want to like test and see, like say four companies for an example, because others are having some practices rather in terms of showcasing, because we shouldn't forget the fact that if you are in the top ranks, that you are invited to go and present in MI Summit also. So therefore, like you can really come forward and make your mark, so select accordingly. So therefore, answer is simple. You can go as a group 1 or single-handedly 1, 2, 3. So the rest of the details applicable to the submission. Hope you got the idea.
So clear, Dr. Samant. Thank you.
Super, thank you. I think there is one more raised hand. Yeah, please go ahead. Is it Hasita? I think Hasita is representing one company. Please unmute and ask. If till the Hasita comes, we have a Chamila, I think. Chamila. Oh, Chamila. Anyway, this whatever this taking time for questions, we can squeeze in the and read. Yeah, Chamila or Chamila, like can you? Is it? Chanuka. Chanuka, I think you have raised the hand. Yes, please. Yeah, please go
So,
ahead.
yes, I have a question regarding the faster road. So, apart from sector roads, we are planning upon some particular sector roads for social governance.
Right.
But then again, when I went through the criteria, the report template that we have given for the part D, so like when I read it with social governance, so we have a beautiful story to tell regarding the ESG program that we have done. So
Excellent.
for that, is it possible for, do we have to adhere to the same criteria that is given, as in like the same format which is given, or is there another format for social governance or CSR kind of activities?
May I say, fantastic question. I would really appreciate your question because these questions clarify others area. When it comes to ESG, social governance, so you can have a unique model for that matter. Like for an example, that when it comes to description that, so definitely if you have a holistic integrated type of a model rather in that sense, let's say what we are showcasing like these circles and so on. So definitely three or more is your definitely writing area in terms of the template. But in the like in terms of your social governance, let's say for example, someone is practicing SDG goals. Like one particular goal or 2 or 3 goals are your, I would say, real engagement, real commitment coming in from the top to down in the company. So then, in terms of writing in the report, select that 3 or more. That means you have a story to tell because you have your own template kind of format and so on. So plug that into this and distinctly we need to understand. So there can be like we are showing architect. For an example, imagine CBM is going for this award. So like how we are going to do that? So our practice is we have multiple dimensional kind of configuration architect. We definitely go under the relevant best practice we say, and in terms of the single, 2 or more or multiple means we go under the 3 or more multiple area. So you can go there. Wonderful. Yes, we have I think one more question.
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
I have a question regarding the sector power and energy. In 4.7, what does fuel stands for? Fuel, gas and oil. What does that mean?
Let me
Which company?
So we are checking exact wording. But till that comes, what is your question? You want to clarify that?
Under what sort of companies come under fuel, gas and oil?
Alright. Now the idea is this. This is an energy sector because your industry is, Mr. Dilshan, probably can you clarify this? This is the industry wise, that might be your business is in, specialize in these areas. Yeah, that because, yeah, exactly. Now this, now as we know, the broad definition of the power and energy is energy business, yes. But having said that, in terms of the classification, we have realized that the many queries have come to directed to CEO asking that now some of them are directly engaging in these areas, like we are in renewable energy, we are in hydropower, and some are in, as you said that we should not use the company names in this case, so that we are, let's say that we are supplying or trading or we are engaging in that fuel business, so that you are not classifying us, we are putting under the power and energy larger cluster. So therefore, the sector. So therefore, what we have done this classification. Imagine, but having taken your question, in case if there are like any other deviations so there, so definitely that can be added under, there is something called any other. Under that, we are specifying that over the last time we had 2-3 such cases. We are having this Sri Lankan acceptable sector classification. They have some unique business propositions. So in that sense, we take, if not under that power and energy sector, or otherwise putting under any other by naming your sector. That's how, isn't it? Right. Got it?
So in a sense that companies who are doing renewable energy and another company is doing hydropower,
Yeah.
and coal can be tested as a power and energy. That's what you are saying.
No, the power and energy is the, thank you for that one again clarification. Under that, now power and energy hyphen renewable energy. Power and energy hyphen fuel. Like that we can go for relevant cluster categories of your business.
Because we are going to recognize.
Everything is not marked faster.
No. Because that's the umbrella term. Umbrella term, where, because now you have a fair question. Now, for example, let's say 5 companies are applying. So when it comes to selecting the sector awards, so some companies have equal footing and business, but their uniqueness lies in line with the relevant category. So that means we should recognize them with the due position. So power and energy hyphen renewable, power and energy hyphen oil, gas, like that. That's how it comes. So therefore,
Each subsection will be recognized separately.
yeah, as the kind of a cluster name. So in simple words, we are not just putting you into one basket straight away. That last basket kind of thinking comes in the cluster. That's why the name comes cluster. Because the social governance, digital, quality, like that, those are clusters.
Indeed.
Alright, wonderful. I think we have one more question.
Sagar
Fernando, please.
Hi, Dr. Ratnakar, thank you very much for your presentation, and it's very informative. Now, I have got 2 questions for you. Now, first one is, I saw on the very first day that you are interested in, theories like, Jim Collins, Good to Great, Build to Last, and, but if we do incorporate those practices into our report, how do we supposed to do referencing? Is it Harvard referencing, or what do we add? Do we add any particular value?
So,
if we do incorporate
thank you.
those things,
Thank
that
you.
is my question number 1.
Yeah. Shall I take the both questions together?
And question number 2.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
And question number 2 is, now when we're talking about our output versus performance, how do we provide evidence? I heard from the very first day that we are not supposed to submit our financials and not like that.
Yeah.
But simply do you want us to put a table and we have last year this much and this year this much and growth is this. So I'm a bit confused.
Alright.
So could you please clarify that?
Thank you. Thank you for the compliments about the presentation. This is a CPM effort. The first answer is, thank you for bringing that wonderful question there, because I'm delighted to answer. The reason is, as you know, when it comes to bringing out the award, it's not just putting a name and give a tagline and coming out with the award, because the CPM has been engaging in multiple endeavors. So we have deliberated a lot, in terms of how to come out with supporting our member organizations, Sri Lankan institutions, getting this corporate sector integration and our research contribution and so on. Unfortunately, even though under the disguise of those bad memories of the post-COVID scenario, that has further triggered. So as a professional body, we have come out with let's do it now. So that's what the Build Back Better opportunity emerged in way back in 2022. In such circumstances, still we have to give something solid and concrete. So therefore, we went to research. We looked at, we have to appreciate what is the available base knowledge. So then we realized that these best management practices are stemming, other than the basic Google definition of practical, workable, the pragmatic approach to anything. We realized that way back in 1970s how US company, I'm just taking few seconds to elaborate on this, how the managing by wandering around. In other words, this in search of excellence from Peters and Robert Waterman's key concepts, how American companies have evolved, paced that, and then further studies have consolidated like Jim Collins' Good to Great, Built to Last. So even Sri Lanka now, one of the patrons initiative, Professor Nanakara's intervention in Sri Lanka, like that, we realize there is a real lacuna, there is a real backing, so that when it comes to big, hairy, audacious goals, getting this first who, then what type of all those best practices have been there in the practice all over the world. Now, here you don't need to necessarily bound to those. Yeah, but you can get some insights from them. Might be some of your companies, even I want to tell you that in those 44 companies who have been boarded in latter 90s are still in the game, and they are also applying. They are also partners in this case. It doesn't mean that some of the practices they have adopted earlier are still practicing. So it's a high time, it's an evolving thing. But in case some of the practices like this hedgehog, built to last type of best practices, entrepreneurial, innovative practices, if you are adopting, what you can do, when you are articulating your what best practice definition, you may do that, but here, ladies and gentlemen, no requirement whatsoever of either Harvard or American Psychological Association, which is called acronym APA, are not required. In case you want to highlight that, bring that one or two reference, since companies having a knowledge basis repository under the complementary area, that number 6, where you can say the above thinking got laid down, based on the articulation was done based on the research of this link. That's fair enough. Otherwise, each company has, I want to tell you, the last year, when this 2025 one I am referring, those 100 companies have 100 distinct practices. That's the beauty of this exercise. So therefore, you can come up with your own. That's the answer for the question number 1. Now, question number 2 is yes. It's like this. Yes, we are not annual report driven endeavor here. That because it has a double-edged sword. In some cases, like PLCs and few limited companies love to bring their annual report for the award and getting a award in through multiple engagements in the country. So we should appreciate that. That is one way, because that's the overall organizational business excellence is been showcasing. But our challenge is that how to quantify this, what may say people are saying, what the companies are saying. So therefore, evidence means, now just imagine you have a scenario A. You are coming out with a strategy. You are coming out with a game plan, blueprint. You are executing. So you are now getting results. So results come in evidence forms. Evidence means what? Behavioral or distinct differences from yesterday versus today. So that means some of your early results are coming in your customer engagement front, happening very well. Your financial consolidation, happening well. Your internal processes are really turning around, happening well. Your people learning growth engagement, happening well. So there are your internal integrations in the department, happening well. Bringing some other practices in the organization, you see a marked difference, marked upliftment, marked enhancement, not substitution, not augmentation. That is where some modifications come in. Companies seeing that. So that is what we call evidence 1, 2, 3. So we want 3 evidences which are marked. And having said that, now the challenge is what? How to quantify that. So in that sense, you have this output outcome. So in that sense, your question is very much pertinent. Gentlemen, thank you for that. While we are highlighting, giving you annual report has 2 implications. Hey, go and find the answer for us because our company performance is set. No, in this case, what you can do, get your some of the indicators which are corresponding to your scenario which you are talking about. Like ideally, you mentioned the answer also partially. That is showcasing your internal turnaround time last 2 or 3 years, or your response time, or your market growth, or couple of tables which you can include there, because there is no restriction of bringing those tables. If you look at our journals on this, you can take some examples. Where companies are coming out with their key selected performances which are improving upward, like going forward, and sustaining and growing here day by day into the next level. Next level, those are quantifiable. So therefore, some sort of a justification is required. Earlier, our performance is around, let's say, 5%. Now 10, 15, 20, 30%. So earlier, our the turnaround time is 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, and so on. Now is 1 day, half a day, 1 hour, 2 hour kind of a transformation. Might be earlier the meeting of those customer deadlines take 2 months. Now it's 1 week, 10 days, 5 days, 3 days, like that. So there is so certain areas to reduce, certain areas to increase. So the answer in short, I give you a detailed answer. Since it is important for everyone. So the idea is, evidences are always supported with, some measurements. Say even in our personal life. Say for an example, my health has been drastically deteriorated last year. So that, I have come out with a cardinal practice, which I brutally executed. So what is the result? My BMI will improve, my cholesterol level will go down, my sugar level will go down. So there are quite so those are measurements. Those are outputs. So as a result, I am a more happier man, better life, better balanced life, enjoying the vitality and so on. So those are impact. Those are for outcome. I think I have given a bit of detailed answer. Hope you got that. Alright, I think we have one more question. Someone who has, yes, please, yes, go ahead.
Yes, I want to know what is a definition of management practice and examples of.
Yeah, I think it is complementary question to the previous one. If you just take your phone or take your mobile, your laptop and Google search, you can see it's it says effective and practical. Like if you look at a very authentic, simple definition is what? Practical and executable, kind of a process, kind of a phenomena into a given context. So the given context is in this case like business, organization, whether it's a public or private sector. It's whatever the motive, whatever the scenario. So practice has an opening, wider opening for us to mark our boundaries. So the beauty is that we are not giving a very panacea for all illness type of 1, 2, 3 solutions. So you can come out with a unique name where you have the freedom to define it. For an example, if you look at some of the previous years' practices, quite stunning. So what they have done in the performance domain. Let's say company is having a HR intervention, single pillar approach. HR, their performance alignment, performance enhancement is the domain. In that sense, what they do. So, company is having a, may I say, talent leveraging strategy. So, that can be the practice. So, that can be the practice, but who knows? You know better than me. So, therefore, you have to define what exactly that means. Another company. So, another company has come out with, leadership domain. So, quite different. But the leadership, they have executed into a particular industry of transforming where it was to next level. So then enabling, inspiring, instructing, that pushing kind of a scenario has been demarcated. Just imagine you are in manufacturing industry. So you are following something like, let's say, TQM. You can come out with your, say, practice. So then what is exactly that lean management, total quality management that you are adapting? Name it. Give that boundary. Give that brief definition that you have a freedom of writing in the under the question number 2. So that's a unique thing. But as one gentleman asked, if you go back to 1980s, when this word is not even uttering, what some US companies have done that. So they have found it out. Some executing the service. Some are talking about customer service. Some are really doing it. That's the practice. So, if it is a company which is in service, customer service, practice is just telling versus execution. Telling versus brutal execution. Telling versus discipline delivery. Something like that. So, that's the practice. So, but as we progress, what Jim Collins have found it out in later 90s in same or different companies, what they are saying, no, it's a hedgehog concept. It's like a hedgehog. Yeah, they don't like so much talk about, they don't trump in their own like, they don't blow in their own trumpet. So what they do? They do one unique strategy, keep on doing, but like at a given time, suddenly come out and like say back the market or hammer the market. So that's their like game changer strategy or a practice. So I can keep on telling. The idea is you can be, if you tell the industry, I can tell that, but that is not the whole purpose of this exercise. But we'll take a software company. Might be their team configuration might be the practice. So another company, typically I have seen this one in those who are following 2 or more pillar or 3 or more pillar companies I have seen. They have like one company, without telling the name I can tell. So they have a fascinating HR lineup, HR enabler. So this research and development is really supporting, bringing those information and so on. And the manufacturing area, the production department is another pillar. So those 3 pillars are really driving. And in fact, other department, it doesn't mean that others are not working. The finance, marketing, like back office, auditing, compliance, they are giving that support to complement. But the company as a award for this national showcasing event, they have come out with those 3 as the distinct pillars. But the practice is what? Integrative management. So they can name it. So here, the golden opportunity for you is what, ladies and gentlemen? You name it. You come and showcase to Sri Lanka. This is our practice. This is what we do. Give the boundary, give the articulation. You are the game changer. So that's the kind of exercise we are in. Hope you got that idea. I think we are almost done. Yeah. Alright, so no more hands raised. You want to go? Right, so then let's get together, let's rise, let's go for yes, there is a this competition coming up, but we want to promote best management practices in Sri Lanka. That's our sincere objective. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ratnayake. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your active engagement. This is what we intended, because we wanted to give comprehensive guideline and the overview. I think we are quite successful. We can see the feedback of that. So we will, as we compromise, we will share this video recording tomorrow, which you can share with your team when you can further reference. Thank you very much for your engagement. So we are wishing you all the best in this competition, and please make sure to follow our guidelines and all. So if you are having any sort of assistance, if you are seeking from our end, we are willing to give our best support. Our team is ready to do that. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant evening.